Jack, welcome back to the tank, my
Thank you,
man.
George. Thank
I
you. It's good to be
I know
back.
it's good to have you, bro. So you just completed your exodus from the People's Republic of California into a nice plot in Georgia. So how's that been going? I know you just did a little walkthrough with everybody through the property recently on that video, but tell us a little bit about what it's like there in Georgia. Is the air
Sure.
freer?
So I moved to a town with about 970 people. Needless to say, everyone is very friendly. In fact, the other day I was driving and I had a whole bunch of supplies in the back of the truck, and I took the turn a little too quick and dumped the load. Right away, I had two cars pull over. They're helping me to reload the truck, and just very nice, very helpful people. And what's really cool about it as well is I'm tucked away. So I live off of a dirt road, and I have 3 acres back in here. But 20 minutes away is a great steak restaurant. There's Italian restaurants, Mexican restaurants. And so there's a lot of good food. There's all the shopping. But you'd never know that when you're sitting out on my porch. And the only reason I'm doing that is the temperature just started to drop and I had to drag everything inside.
Yeah, I know. I saw in the video it was snowing over there. I didn't even realize that it snowed in Georgia. That was kind of a new thing for me to see. So I was like, wow, all right, it's cold over there. But
Yeah. And they don't even sell chains because it's so infrequent that
yeah,
it does snow, and it doesn't last. This lasted about 2 days, and I was beautiful while it lasted. Glad to see it gone.
yeah, that's one of those things that when I moved to the West Coast, and one of the things that I thought that I would miss, and I started to act like I was missing, was snow, until I went back to visit and was scraping ice off the windshield and going through all the. I was like, all right, maybe I don't miss it so much. It's one of those things that's
Yeah.
fun to look at on the movies, but it's not. It's not something you want to deal with in a day to day life.
Well, it's funny too. There's some challenges that Georgia has in terms of driving around. So everything is red clay, and when it rains, it's nothing but mud. All right, especially where I live on the property. And for some reason, the tires I have are called mud tires. They're huge, but they don't do a darn thing for me in mud. I backed up to the shed the other day to drop off some supplies, and I could not get out of the yard. I was just digging deeper and deeper into that red clay. The tread filled up, and it was just caked in there. And so I had to take an old army shovel, dig some holes in the front and the back of the rear tires. And then I took a whole bunch of kitty litter and I poured that in the holes and I rocked it back and forth and it worked.
So these are
But
not challenges you would deal with in California, I would assume, right?
no, they're not challenges I would deal with in California. Yeah.
Yeah, but just to be clear for everybody, he wasn't living in like Los Angeles or San Francisco. It was a suburban area, a little more eastern. So it was actually a pretty conservative area, as most of California is outside of those major cities. So like, but still not on this level, right? It may not have been
Yeah.
Los Angeles, but it wasn't this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the sticks. I can see my neighbors, but they're more than a stone's throw.
Right.
And and I can only see them because it's winter time and the leaves are off the trees. As soon as the everything turns green again, their houses will disappear from view.
Well, I wish you luck there, bro. I know me and my brother are looking at some properties in a state like Georgia, somewhere in that area, South Carolina, maybe Tennessee, but we'll see. But that's cool. So, I mean, I know you've been disengaged for a while. So, getting yourself moved in, getting you're still kind of going through some stuff there and whatnot. But, like I said earlier, I'm happy to have you back and ready to start putting out some content and join the fun again because we were rolling. before the move got made. And this was, for those that don't know, a very knee-jerk reaction move. Jack just called one day and was like, "I'm moving to Georgia, bought a house."
Yeah,
like
and just to fill that in, and I intend to produce some content that will go a little bit deeper, that I want to share, that I think will be helpful for certain people out there. The fact of the matter is that I was faced with either getting a vaccine by the corporation I work for, or being terminated, and they gave me my termination date. And so I decided that I was going to pull the plug on California and come out to Georgia. Now, a couple of other things have happened since then with the corporation, but that's really what I want to get into. And it's not a bitch and moan session. It's more of letting some folks know, hey, here's what other people are faced with as a frame of reference, and what are some of the things that you can do about that? Because it certainly is a challenge when you're faced with losing your livelihood.
Yeah, and as you know, Jack, I'm going through a very similar thing right now.
Hmm.
And I didn't make the decision to move to Georgia, but I have made the decision not to get the vaccination, for on religious grounds. And I'm dealing with the same drama right now. So I definitely sympathize with where you're at and where millions of Americans are in that, being called anti-vaxxer and tagged and, labeled and, trying to create a new divisional group, right, of people, and it sucks, and it's mentally draining, and it's, it's not something that's easy to deal with, especially when, some people make that decision, the whole family's in, and it is what it is, it, my family is kind of on the fence, like they really just because they want life to go back to normal. And I don't know that they
Right.
necessarily believe me that, it's never going back to normal. Like that's, I've been telling them that since this thing started, and I've been right this whole time. And, we'll see how it pans out, but I still don't believe, that when you hear them using terms like the new normal and stuff like that, that's where, and that came out early on, right? But like
Right.
I'm dialed in to hear these buzzwords, and when I hear them pumping that on every news station, and the companies pumping that message, and everywhere you go, you hear them pumping that message, and it's new normal, new normal.
We're entering a new phase where such a reality is, quote, a new normal.
Americans are facing a new normal.
It is a new normal.
The governor talked today about working toward a new normal.
So we're going to a different place, which is a new normal.
It's like, no. Nothing about this is normal, and it's like, it's definitely new, but there's nothing about this that's normal. And from that moment, I kind of knew where this is headed. And unfortunately, so far anyway, I've been right. So as have many others, it's not like I have state claim on that. Most people in my shoes knew, what was going on, and that this was going to change everything dramatically. So, but on a brighter front, LR14 passed the second round in Nebraska yesterday. So
That was awesome. Awesome.
yeah. And for those that don't know what LR14 is, it is the resolution in Nebraska for convention of states under Article 5 for them to become the 16th state to call for a convention. And it passed the first reading with 30 to 10, I'm sorry, vote. It passed the second reading with a 32 to 8 vote. So they gained 2 votes. And it was significant because that brought them to a filibuster proof vote where now it cannot be held up. So it'll go to one more vote. But considering its momentum, it is looking very good that Nebraska will very shortly be the 16th state to join the call for a convention. And that's huge. If you're watching this for the first time, you don't know what the Convention of States is, check out our website, www.thepatriotthinktank.com. Check out our YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll get all the information you need there. There's also links to Convention of States Action website, where you can get a ton of information, sign the petition for your state. They'll send a letter to your representative on your behalf when you sign that petition. But it allows us to amend the Constitution of the United States without any say from Congress. So the three pieces that we're looking to get across are term limits for all government officials. We are looking to get across restrictions on government power and jurisdiction, and then fiscal restraints on the federal government. Those are the three topics that all of the resolutions share. And you know, the good people in Nebraska have been working hard over there to get that done, and I'm excited to start seeing. It's an exciting time right now, you know, because all the legislatures are starting to kick back in again, and there's 21 of them now that are up for resolution. Which, if they all get passed, we're calling it by summer.
Yeah, and you know, I think that more and more people can really start to see the value in the Convention of States in Article 5. When you look at governors like Ron DeSantis, without people like him in office that are, you know, taking the bull by the horns and bringing the power back to the states as best as he can, without him and people like him, we'd be further down a darker road. And as people recognize this, they start to recognize that a convention of states that puts the power back in the hands of the states and removes it from the federal government is exactly what was intended by our founding fathers, and it keeps us far more safe from this all omnipresent entity who can just throw out this mandate or that mandate. The time has come. And so that's outstanding, George. It really is.
Yeah, I'm fired up about it. There's a lot of promising. A lot of these 21 are promising. So, you know, and my feeling is once you get 16, 17, 8, the ball starts rolling, the momentum starts kicking in, and people start. You know, I watched the full 2 hours of debate in Nebraska for the first reading, and you know, upon watching it, you know, one thing that I noticed, and I've watched these debates in other states and things like that, and one of the things I noticed was a lot more of the legislators had gone in and really looked into this and not gone with the scare tactic of runaway convention and these, which are just completely unfounded, you know, allegations. And despite constantly repeating why that can't happen, they still come back with it each and every time. And like this time around, though, these guys were getting up, they were speaking, and they're basically saying, look, initially I had these concerns. And of course they had them because someone was in their ear saying, you know, acting like, you know, what they're not telling you is, you know, and then following it up with some bizarre notion that the delegates get these mythical powers, you know, once they get selected. But then, you know, they all said, not all of them, but enough of them to make me feel better. It said, you know, but I've looked into it and I've read up on the historical context and I've done those things. And now they're in favor. Right. So,
Yeah,
you know, and I'm hoping that gets contagious.
I think that it will, or like you, I hope it will. But I think what's happening also is people are looking, these legislators are looking at the way that fear is being leveraged. And you don't have to go any further than in our medical community to see the way that fear is being leveraged. And they're finding that below the surface, things aren't adding up. And it puts them on high alert. So now when we turn over to issues like Article 5, and they're faced with that fear, whereas in the past, perhaps they were, and that's all they were dealing with. Now, they're beginning to look at it and saying, wait, here's more fear coming my way. What happened in the medical community? Let me look a little bit deeper. Let me take a breath and not react emotionally. And the more we can get people moving in that direction, that automatically don't form an opinion, I think we'll be in good shape.
So getting back to the piece you're talking about with the fear and such. So, you know, and I just put out that video. I don't know if you got a chance to catch it yet with mass formation psychosis, but like that, this Dr. Matthias Desmet, who did this, who's been teaching this and other types of group dynamics, and finally is the one who made the connection. But like this mass formation, you know, menticide, or, you know, there's a lot of different names for it. The Soviets, you know, Yuri Bezmenov had his 4-stage process that that Russia was using, that the Soviets were using, and like, a lot of the fear and a lot of the irrationality of these people, and I see this when we're in the comments and I'm kind of going back and forth with people. Like, there are some people that just come on that are just like it'll be an Article 5 video and they just come on yapping about Donald Trump, and I'm just like, this has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. And it's one of two things I think that are at play there. One, they're either 50 Cent Army, and they're just, just jumping on to, stir crap up with anything that says Patriot on it, and then the other one is that, yeah, they're in this mass formation and they just, they've got these pre-programmed things that they say. And it's like, if it doesn't, even when it's not on topic, they just know to say these things. And it's like, and then you try and question them and they go dark, and it's like, they're just angry. They're just programmed to be angry and fearful, and they've bought in. They've bought into and this is where so what Mateus Desmond was saying is that, like, people have attached their anxiety to COVID, and that, and like, those are all pre-existing conditions that needed to exist. So, like, there needs to be, he called it free floating anxiety and aggression, where, like, you have this anxiety and aggression, but it's not attached to anything specific. And then you present something like COVID, and now they attach it to that. And then you have one single leader with one single solution. And then, and the single leader can be a small group, an entity, whatever, but there's one solution, being the vaccine. And so once they attach to that, they become completely irrational in their quest to try and alleviate that anxiety. So, like, in essence, you had a society that was anxious. COVID-19 comes out, boom, everybody attaches their anxiety to that. Government comes out, we got a solution, we're going to vaccinate people, we're going to make you sit, stand, do the hokey pokey, we're going to do, whatever their protocols were, all the weird ones, and everybody just falls in line because it gives them that feeling of collective and gives them that feeling of, like, working towards a goal that will alleviate their anxiety. And he even points out that the more irrational, the better. It's crazy, but, like, it fits absolutely to a T with what's going on with these people, and why, and the fact that these, you, even for the people regarding Article 5, like when they hear this runaway convention argument and they've already been pre-programmed to hate it, they just start bashing it and won't even listen to rationale. It's all kind of the same thing, but really with the COVID piece, I think, is where you see it. It's out of control. Like, people don't question anything.
Yeah, and it is out of control, and it's a shame. It's a shame because people are being manipulated, and not that it's not real, not that there aren't effects and so forth, but the extent that people are being manipulated far exceeds the necessity of that level of fear, if I'm saying that properly.
No,
You don't need to
you said it right. Yeah. You said it right. I mean, and that's the thing. It's not that COVID's not something to be concerned about. It's just not something to be afraid of. It's not, it's not so bad that it's, that you have to think of it that way, that you have to be like, oh my God, I have to wear, in other words, like, you wear a mask, right? So mask efficacy, like, there's been studies all over the place about whether masks are legit or not legit. And the bottom line is they stop big droplets. They don't stop aerosols. So they're not, and the big droplets piece is obvious, right? You put something over your face, a big droplet's going to get stopped by it. But clearly they don't stop aerosols. And the idea that, whether you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, who's more infectious, a vaccinated or unvaccinated person, who's more chance to die? What are the side effects? What are this? There's conflicting information everywhere. And even if you want to pick one source and say, I'm sticking with this source, that source's information changes all the time. So, and the bottom line that you come to it as a rational human being is that no one knows.
Right.
No one knows. Like they don't know. They don't know what the effects of the vaccine long term are because it hasn't been distributed long term. They can't know, right? Like even the Facebook warnings don't say it's safe. They say it's constantly being monitored, right? Well, that means you're constantly being monitored if you're if you're the one who took it. So, and not that you're constantly being surveilled, but they're basically looking at you and monitoring you to see if you die or don't die, or see if you get a condition or don't get a condition, or if you have this pre-existing condition, what happens to you. Like they don't know. So there's a ton of reasons for someone to rationally think they don't want to take it, but because these people are under this mass psychosis, they're attacking these people and labeling them, and and basically accusing them of being a threat to them and everybody else. And it's beyond reason. When you listen to them talk about it, it's beyond reason.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And yet here we are.
And yet here we are, and you now are exhibiting self-isolation by by moving out to the sticks. You're like, I need 3 acres separation, not 6 feet.
And the white-tailed deer and the feral hogs and the foxes and coyotes and the frogs. I mean, the noises. When I go out on my deck at 2:00 in the morning, the noises are incredible. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it sounds pretty neat, man. It does. And it's interesting. I'm watching your experience myself because, like I said, me and my brother were looking at getting a rural property and sort of building a family compound there over time. Like we're not even going to build on it right away, but like, upon retirement to just kind of build multiple houses on a 15-20 acre plot, and just kind of have it become a family compound where, like, anybody who needs to bail out for any reason, just come down to the family compound kind of thing. When the zombies come, right? When the zombies come, right, we'll have a compound to go to get away from it all. So it should be interesting. So I'm closely watching your experience in Georgia, and make sure you answer your phone, man, because when you don't answer, I think you got eaten by a bear or some shit.
There's no bear here.
Answer his phone in 3 days. I'm like, he's down there alone.
Yeah. My greatest danger living here is myself, George. I shot a nail through my finger the other day, and I popped it. I pulled the nail out of my finger. Couldn't find a Band-Aid, blood squirting everywhere. But I was in the middle of doing something and it was too far to walk back to the house. So I'm like, I got to get this done. And then finally I found a plastic rubber glove that I use for when I stain things. And I put the rubber glove over my hand and it started filling with blood, but then it coagulated. And I thought to myself, wouldn't that be a hell of a eulogy, right? He's so damn stubborn that he bled to death because he shot himself with a nail and he didn't want to get a Band-Aid because he was in the middle of trying to do something. So I'm my biggest danger. The bears are not going to kill me. I'm going to kill me eventually. Yeah.
Do you have bears there? Or?
No, there's no bear here. Yeah.
No bears there?
No
what do you got?
bears.
Mountain lions, cougars?
No. Bobcats, coyotes, no wolves.
Bobcats are not very big, though, right?
No, they're not.
They can still eat you, though.
They're not going to eat you,
How do you know?
but they'll eat a small dog. And then you have the coyotes. They like to try and dig up under the fences. The hogs can be very dangerous when they're in the brush. And but the guy next door has 3 big old hunting dogs. And there's no leash law here in Georgia. So they're out in the woods. And so they keep a lot of the bigger game away, which has its pluses and its minuses. I'd love to see more deer, but I'm glad that they're keeping the hogs away.
Yeah. Well, nothing like free pork chops, though.
I know. Yeah, I was looking forward to.
Not that you know how to butcher a pig, but you'll have to figure it out. You can YouTube it.
Everything's on YouTube.
I know.
Everything.
How to butcher a pig.
That's right.
You're just going to find your search is changing now.
I'm gonna do it. Maybe one day you'll come out here and visit me. We'll go out and we'll go kill ourselves a pig.
That's it. We'll do
And
some Lord of the Flies stuff.
yeah, we'll barbecue it.
Oh, smack. All right, Jack. So good chatting. We're definitely going to put out some more stuff going forward. I just wanted to reintroduce you. We've gained some 300 plus or so subscribers since you took off. So just wanted to reintroduce you. And then what about Biden in the basement? Are we seeing any more of that?
I have to write the scripts.
All right, cool. No, but it's definitely coming back then, you're saying, right?
It is, at least for one more season.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, cool, because those are funny. All right, excellent. Jack,
All right, George.
any last words you want to throw out there before we cut out?
I think I'm going to take a nap because life is life is just so go here that it can be exhausting.
All right, excellent. Well, I can't take a nap, so that I'm jealous. But all right, Jack, we'll be in touch. Looking forward to your first video back, and then aside from the walkthrough you gave us, but your first other video back, and then let's get it on. Good to have you back.
Thank you, George. It's great to be back, and thank you for doing everything you did while I was gone.
Oh, pleasure. It's all for the cause, my man. All for the cause.
There we go. All right. Talk to you later.
All right, awesome. So let's just make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. Make sure you're clicking the bell for updates on new content. Jack's going to be coming up with new content. We got some Article 5 beginner series coming up. And also updates like LR14 in Nebraska. We'll be popping those up as they come in as well. So make sure you stay tuned. Until next time, we're out.
And like that,